What musicians inspired you to choose music as a career?
Well, James Taylor was a big influence. I really loved his work, his writing, his guitar playing, his singing. I loved Larry Carlton's playing, Pat Metheny. I loved all sorts of great music back in the 70s. They listened to all this stuff in Nashville. You think it's a country music town, but all the country musicians, they love jazz, and they listen to all the great jazz.
So why did you move to LA?
Well, all the records were being made in LA, and so I said, I want to be one of those guys.
So your first album, Nocturnal Playground, was released in 1986. Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, what happened was, I think my break came as a songwriter in a roundabout way. I was writing for a publisher, and it was my first real, break in terms of any kind of success. I was doing a few sessions around town, and this publisher said, look, you write some songs, I'll publish them. Well, out of that came the opportunity to record Nocturnal Playground, which was born right around the time of the format of smooth jazz. It wasn't called smooth jazz. I think it was called Quiet Storm, or whatever it was that happened at that time. And that's when the Rippingtons' first album, Nocturnal Moonlighting, was done in 1986 as well. So that a whole opportunity came about from my songwriting.
And I understand you produce as well.
Well, yeah, producing was the first thing that I produced was the Moonlighting CD. And from that opportunity came the chance to work with really all my favorite musicians. I mean, I'd invite them on the records, guys like Dave Grusin and Joe Sample and all these wonderful players. And so, the opportunity to produce came later when we started Peak Records, and I've just had a bunch of great things happen.
Moonlighting grew out of a one-time project by a group of musicians who frequented a small North Hollywood club called the Baked Potato. It was released in 1987, was it? Or is it
actually says 1986.
Was it actually 1986?
Yeah, I was
okay.
surprised to hear that, yeah.
To critical acclaim and commercial success. It was voted by Jazz It magazine as the most influential contemporary jazz album of all time. We would love to hear about your experience of making this album.
The memory that most stands out to me was, like you said, we were doing all these Monday night jams, and it was an intense jam. Everybody would come in. Marcus Miller would come sit in. I met Kenny G there. I met David Benoit. All these people would come in. So I remember one night we had a real long session playing, and then the next morning we had a very early recording session for Moonlighting, for that record, with Brandon Fields. So we were up till 2 or 3 in the morning, and then I think the session started at 9. So he came in, and we were still red-eyed from just having played in this club. And I said, okay, start playing. So it was almost as though it was a live record. That's my...
Well, you were all unknown artists at the time, and now everyone on that CD is well known. Did you feel that this was special when you were doing it?
The moment that I really felt we had something was at the mastering session, and I thought, man, I sure hope somebody ever gets to hear this record. I just thought it was really great. It was fun.
You set out on your first tour in a van in a rented U-Haul truck. Who was on that tour with you? That
was a tour through Houston, Texas, and it's funny, we have such devoted fans that a lot of them say, I've been a fan since the beginning. And the beginning was that U-Haul trip going to Houston, Texas, and we'll never forget. It was just a great club. Rockefellers was the name of it, and we still have pictures from it, and I still have friends that come see us in Houston that were fans from that first tour.
So you started your own record company, Peak Records, and your first release in 1997 was Black Diamond, which debuted at #1. You must have been ecstatic.
Oh, it was great. It was wonderful. And it was also wonderful to see that our fans were so loyal and so great to us after even 10 years. I mean, 10 years was a long time in the business, even back then.
Well, in 2000, in Life in the Tropics, your first digital recording was released. How did this change the way you make music?
In retrospect, it's a great thing that we did that. I had built a really nice recording studio in Colorado from the ground up. Beautiful. Everything was wonderful. And I had bought the old Warner Brothers studio from LA, everything, all the gear. And when I moved to to Florida, I sold that entire studio to our tour manager, who then started his own studio in Las Vegas. And I made the switch to digital. I thought, this might be the right time to do it. And boy, was that the right time to do it.
So you are an artist who has definitely embraced the new age of computers. When did you become interested in computers?
We were also lucky in that some of our greatest friends were Silicon Valley people, and they said, hey, you should start a website. And this was back in 90, I don't know, way back when, at the beginning of the internet. I remember even before the internet, there was these BBS things, and we'd take our little, I don't even know if we had laptops, I don't know what they were, but we were from the very beginning. So I remember we had one of the earliest websites for a band, and it's just something we've always embraced and used as a tool.
Mac or PC?
Well, I was PC for many, many years, and I went all Mac about 3 years ago.
You lived in Colorado, and now you live in Florida. Is there a reason you have avoided the hub of the industry, LA and New York?
It's funny. I love this country so much. I just wanted to take the opportunity to live everywhere I could, and that's why I've moved around all over the place.
Well, with modern technology, you can get away, be anywhere and make a CD with people halfway across the world. So.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, we absolutely love traveling, and we'll probably end up going back west, You never know.
So you're married to a Spanish pop singer. She's a pop songwriter.
She's a great songwriter, yeah, pop. She's Venezuelan.
How do you say her name?
Yaret.
Okay.
It could be Elena, but she doesn't want the easy part. She wants you to say Yaret.
Okay. Tell us about her.
Well, she's wonderful. She's a really gifted songwriter. In fact, she has a hit record now, big hit record, with Jenny Rivera. So what's interesting about her is that she's not trained in terms of classical, she hasn't had any ear training. She's strictly just totally gifted with her lyric writing and with her melody writing. So I love working with her that way, because she doesn't have any preconceived notions about how music should be. She's just intuitive and very natural in her approach.
So you produce for a lot of other artists. Do you have any interesting projects happening now?
Well, right now we're just focused on modern art, and we're out on the road, and that's strictly our focus.
You are a person who is always looking towards the future. What's next for Russ Freeman?
Well, like you mentioned, I'm really into web design, and I'm doing it for more and more people. I have a company that does that now, and in fact I'm doing, a million things, but I'm interested in art as well. Obviously the code, the band is doing great, so I'm just expanding my interests in all these areas.
So is there anything else you'd like to add to our interview?
No, I just want to thank our fans for being so loyal and so great to us, giving us the opportunity to do all this music for them.
Well, thanks for sitting down with us, Russ. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank